All right, recording is on.
Okay. So I'm Pam Hertenstein. I work with Salish Sea District, and I am the program director for our day camp, Salish Sea, this summer. And yes, we are planning on having real day camps this year, as well as some virtual camps too. So what we have planned is this for summer of 2021 is within the guidelines that we have been given by the governor, or will be at that time. We are planning on one actual in-person camp for North District, one for Pilchuck, and one for Salish Sea. We are also having 4 camps that are strictly virtual. And those are actually going to have a different theme for each week. Our theme for all the camps this summer is weird science. So we're going to be doing all kinds of fun STEM things and nature things and just trying lots of new stuff. Registration opens February 1st, and we will be doing it as individual registration like we did actually the last 2 years. We've ended up doing it as individual registrations. For those camps that are actually going to be in person, we will still need our adults and youth helper volunteers. We do need to have 1 adult for every 3 Cub Scouts at camp. And we have our pricing. We're going to have regular price will be $125 for the week. If you pay early, and you're encouraged to do this up to 60 days before the start of the camp date, you will only pay $105. You will pay, the regular price will be effective from up until 15 days before the camp starts at $125. And if you register less than 15 days up to the day of camp starting, it will be $150. And as always, youth helpers and adult staff are free. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions so far? Everybody's muted.
I have a question.
Sure.
For the in-person camps, will the PAC have to register the scouts like they did last year? Or I don't know if all the camps had to do that last year, but like our PAC had to register all our in-person people last year?
No, we're doing it as you will register. Families can go on and register on their own. They won't have to go through the PAC.
Yeah, we made a change to individual registration. We had to cancel the in-person camps and went to virtual. And we didn't feel like we would be really successful in gathering all of those day camp coordinators again this year after that challenge last year. So we're sticking with the in-person registrations. And with the virtual camp options, that made a lot of sense to us as well to keep the individual registrations active. To help PACs get more of their Cub Scouts signed up and going, we are going to be providing some promotional material that we'll be sending out to PACs on a monthly basis to let them promote with the newest information of what's going on, as well as some fun activities to generate interest. And Cub Masters, or those they designate, will be getting that on a monthly basis.
Another question, is it automatically going to Cub Masters, or do we tell you who to designate for that?
So the first email will be coming out the end of next week for the end of January, and it'll go to all Cub Masters. And in that email, we'll give them the option to give us a different name if someone else should be receiving it.
Okay.
I know, Pam, I'm excited about the virtual camp kind of sub themes that we have. We're bringing on a couple of paid staff members to run our virtual camp, since they'll be doing it for the whole month of July. And as part of that, they're coming up with a different STEM theme each week to focus on. So as registration comes up, those will be available to see. But as a sneak peek for those of you listening in here, in our first week, or we're still figuring out order, but our themes will include backyard biodiversity, which will be a nature focus, kitchen chemistry, which will involve both cooking as well as STEM topics and projects. We'll have one that looks at flight and fluid dynamics. Our program director is excited about working with non-Newtonian fluids with the Cub Scouts, which are a lot of fun to play with. And then a Cub Scout engineering theme for one of the weeks as well. So each week we'll have a slightly different focus with different projects that Scouts can participate in.
I can't speak to the North District or the Pilchuck District camps, but I know for Sailor Sea, we're hoping to be at Silver Lake again this year. That's our plan. And we are going to be having a little bit more traditional in that we will have our cooking station and our woodworking stations and some of the other more traditional things we've done in the past, but we are pulling into the theme. Like I can't even think right now, but how science kind of pulls into it, chemical reactions when you're cooking, and maybe even with some of our arts projects. Also some of the flight dynamics with some of our wood projects. And some physics with our obstacle course and different games that we'll be playing. So we will be incorporating the theme along with, things that we have enjoyed in the past doing at camp and think the kids really love and will help towards some of their advancement. And if you're interested if you have a child who wants to do can't decide between kitchen chemistry or Scout engineers, you can go to both camps. You can go to one virtual and one in-person camp. There will be discounts for multiple weeks of camp. So if you have kids that want to come to more than one, go for it.
Hey Pam, Steve from PAC 331 down in Edmonton. I was just going to ask about that. If there's a theme for each one of these weeks, is it the full registration for each of them, or do you know what that discounting level is going to be like yet?
So it'll be full price for the first week of camp, and then it's a 25% discount to each week of camp that you go to after that. So if they decide they want to spend the whole month of July going to day camps, then they'll get that discount applied to the 3 of the 4 weeks.
Great, thanks, Eric.
If you're interested in attending one of the in-person camps, there are all 3 of our camps are still looking for some staff members. So the key 4 staff usually get a significant, if not 100% discount for one of their scouts coming to camp. I know. Sailor Sea, we're definitely going to be looking for a quartermaster this year. So that's another way to
Quartermaster do, Pam.
So the quartermaster varies a little bit from camp to camp, but traditionally for my camps, they're there to help early in the morning, help get the station set up, help get the pop-ups set up for all the dens, get all the supplies needed for each station out to their station. And then they kind of oversee our youth helpers. Summer of 2019, yeah, that was the last time we were actually at camp. I had like 24 youth helpers. So those are our youth helpers are the 11 to 13-year-olds, because the 14 and up can actually be station leaders. So those guys were used as station leaders. We had a huge contingency of our 11 to 13-year-olds who helped out at different stations, helped out with the quartermaster, ran around, made sure that all of our water jugs were filled up. And then the quartermaster also helps tear everything down at the end of the day. And if we run out of something in the middle of the day, they're the one to run to Home Depot or the grocery store or whatever to get what we need.
Yeah, the quartermasters also coordinate with picking up the trailer of supplies at the beginning of the week, and then returning it to camp and finishing out the inventory at the end of the week as well, right?
Correct. All righty. Any other questions?
Steve again. Actually, I have two. First is, so with the in-person camps and, looking at the schedule here, I see these are, in August, and hopefully in-person gatherings have, gotten better by then.
Yes.
But what does, given the current situation with the pandemic and COVID and everything that we got to deal with, we haven't been having in-person meetings for almost a year now. What does that look like in this environment?
Well, as I was telling Eric earlier, we plan for the best, which is everybody's at camp and we're having a great time, but preparing for the worst. If we have to go, 100% virtual like we did last year, we will do that. And but we will be much better prepared this year because we've had a whole year to prepare for that instead of, the 2 months that we had last summer. We're also looking, depending upon, what the governor says we can do, we may end up with some type of a hybrid where you do part of the day at camp where you can come in, or a day at camp where you can come in and do your shooting sports and maybe your wood projects or, obstacle course, some of the things that are a little bit tougher to do at home. Obviously the shooting sports we can't do at home, but hopefully we can, if we can't all have everybody at camp, we can come up with kind of a hybrid to do that, where they do the majority of the stuff at home, but come in to camp for what we can do.
Let me say that, Pam takes a very realistic view and is preparing for the worst. I'm feeling very optimistic about our ability to have, especially day camps, if not our resident camp programs. Even in phase 2, I think that we could effectively create cohorts and safely operate a day camp program. And I'm pretty confident that we'll see phase 2, if not phase 3, by August to be able to do that. I know that Pam and her team are working hard, as are our other in-person camp directors, to have backup plans to be able to pivot to still offer an engaging and exciting virtual program if that's what has to happen again.
Yeah, I know we're all hoping for in person by then. So just curious. Second question, and Amanda, sorry I saw you raise your hand, but out of curiosity, and I apologize, I missed the first minute or two, and so you may have talked about this already, but virtual camp, $125, what does that get you besides some Zoom time?
Yeah, so the program cost for virtual camp includes a number of more kits that'll be included in kind of that day camp in a box idea that we used in 2020. But we're looking at significantly more instructor focus and guided activities through more interactive Zoom connections than what we had in 2020. So rather than just kind of the morning, midday, and the afternoon check-ins, and otherwise it's all self-directed, they'll have a lot more time to interact with 3 different instructors who will work with them at different age groups as well to engage with each activity and enjoy what they're doing. So the one benefit of virtual camp is that we don't need all those volunteers coming in to help us run things because it's all done online. So engaging those 3 staff members to be responsible folks and to keep everyone engaged and managed throughout the day, as well as the increase in kits and supplies that'll be done for at-home use is what makes those costs equivalent.
And their programs will also be more focused on one area of science for that week. Whereas the in-person, you're going to get a little more traditional camp.
Amanda had her hand raised.
Yeah, so last year we got tickets for our scouts that went to virtual camp to go and do a range day. And I know we haven't been able to do that yet. With the virtual camps this year, do they also get a range day?
That's a great point. Let me first say that we're very aware that we haven't been able to offer that range day yet. We're looking at a weekend in May to be able to offer that if we can get to phase 2 by then. And we've got our shooting sports committee working on putting that together even now. And we'll hopefully be able to announce that it's actually happening soon. For this summer, we've not planned on including a shooting sports component with the virtual camps at this point. But is definitely something that could be re-examined.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for or about day camp or Cub camping in general that we can address?
When do we start seeing information roll out?
So promotional flyers are coming out to each Cub Master by the end of next week as our first kind of blast. And then with registration opening fully February 1st. You'll have your roundtable folks will have resources to do presentations at either the February or March roundtable, depending on what their schedules look like as well to help kick it off.
Sounds good, thanks.
All right.
Hey, it's Kathy from Pack 4001. Is there any way that I can just get added to that mailing list? Because our Cub Master is a little MIA.
So Kathy, if you reach out to me at that email address, I'll add you to the list and make sure that you're on it.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I see your address right here. Okay, thanks.
It'll be on the shared screen there, yeah.
Okay.
So did you say that was just going out to Cub Masters, or is it
So the plan is that the
P3 at least or
email will
something?
go to Cub Masters, and we'll invite them to give us an alternate contact if there's someone better in their pack. But yeah, Steve, do you want me to add you to that list as well?
Yes, please.
Great.
Because like Kathy mentioned, concern of Cub Masters either being MIA or, there may be other people who are kind of driving the train with packs these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've got my email address up there now, and I want to encourage anyone, if you still have further questions, to feel free to reach out and ask questions. And otherwise, thanks so much for your time this evening, and I hope that you have a great night.
Hope to see you at camp.
Hope to see you at
Thank you.
camp. Great.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Bye.